Good morning, everyone. My name is Vita Evenson, and I live on a Greek island and I paint Greece. Now, I have decided that I'm going to start this video podcast. I have never done a podcast. I'm going to be very clumsy. Bear with me. I'm going to start right in and talk to you a little bit about my philosophy on how I come to my studio and how I live my life. And the two are connected. And so let me get right into it. I spent most of my life, as you know, I have a very good life. I've been very lucky. I live on this beautiful little island, raised my kids. We basically homeschooled them, unschooled them, and had a very, very strong sense of freedom while living on this little Greek island. My husband is a fisherman, so he as well lives a very free, open kind of life. Now, what does any of this have to do with painting? Well, living on an island, there's a lot of things that are not available. And we don't have an art supply store, for example, and I have to go into the city to go down and get to the art store. And, you know, that's a couple hours drive to get there and a couple hours back. And so I've had to work with what I have. I don't have the luxury of having a luxurious studio. I don't have the luxury of all sorts of nifty things that you can use, right, to help you out and make your life a lot easier, not only in my studio, but in my life in general. And it kind of brought me to a mental space where I began to focus more and more and more on that state of being present, of being in the now, whatever that means, because honestly, it's a very, very elusive state. Once in a while, you catch yourself and you're in the flow, you're in the zone. And I really loved it when I came into my studio and I just kind of fell into that energetic flow of creativity. And it got me thinking, right? I figured if it happens by accident, where you're just kind of there and the creative muse decides to come down and come into you and move your brush and just you're in that state. If it can happen by accident, why can't you make it happen whenever you want? And I don't follow the idea that these are like qualities. This state of flow is a quality that just comes and goes by happenstance, by accident. I don't believe that. I think that we are able to cultivate and nourish the space so that creativity can continually flow through us and we can use it whenever we want. So I started going on this kind of thought, this mindset, and being a yoga teacher and studying yoga for many, many years. Of course, I came in contact with and began to understand the various energy centers within us and the 7 major chakras that, most people know something about. And I'm a very practical kind of gal, although very creative at the same time. And I take things that I cannot explain or understand, such as energy centers in my body, and try to come at that with a very, very practical kind of way, something that I can latch onto and understand. And as I went through this process, I uncovered and understood more and more and more about who I am. And the more that I went into painting and wanted to grow and expand as an artist, I was able to connect how my creativity was flowing through me and where I was getting stuck. And that brought me to understand why I was getting stuck. And this is a very personal journey, and a lot of you are not going to be interested in this kind of thing. So if it's not your thing, wait for the next podcast where I'm going to talk about painting and, your color palette and working with things and how to create form. And I'm going to get into all of those things as well. But I thought I would start with my philosophy. For those of you who are interested in this kind of, I guess it would be an abstract kind of idea. But it really isn't, if you think about it. And let me get into it so that I can show you that this process of coming through the human channel through your body is the process of manifestation. And manifesting what? A bridge, building a bridge, to creating a painting, to choosing the clothes you're going to put on your body, and, washing the dishes. Everything that we do, all the decisions that we make, whether big or small, all kind of come through this same process. And it can be very quick, or it can be a long haul, depending on where you're at. For me, oftentimes, it is a long haul. And let me get into it again. Let's chop it up and then come back to these kind of ideas. Okay, so it all begins with that point of awareness, right? You become aware that there's something that you want to do, or there's something you need to do. And I'm going to keep this around painting. All right. So how do you begin a painting? Is it just putting up the canvas and you start mixing your colors and you start painting? Not usually, right? If you're coming at a painting, and you're just doing this expressive whatever and throwing colors on and seeing what happens, that's not even out of this same process that I'm talking about, because you have to first become aware that you want to paint something. So, here, let's imagine like we're up in our 7th chakra area, right? In the crown area, which the next step up, you're like out into you're connecting to the creative realm, to that massive, in lost my words here, but to that energy of creativity, which is infinite, which is way beyond anything that our minds can actually grab onto. So, for example, you go outside and you're walking down the street, and you have that little spark of awareness. It's like an inaudible big bang. That's what it seems like to me, where it's like this and this growth of an idea forming or coming to you. And I use the example of going down to the beach, and you go for a walk on the beach. I have a real beautiful little beach here that I go to every day. I'm a cold water swimmer. So my swimming season starts now in October. So I'll go down to the beach and I'll go for a walk on the beach. And if my mind is busy with stuff and I'm just thinking and I'm lost, like, you know how you do that, and you're like, go from you're driving to the store or something, and then you get there and you're like, I don't even remember driving. I was thinking, I was so lost in thought. If you do that, if you're in that space with all the noise going on, you're not going to get any spark of inspiration. It's not going to come. It may come to you, but you're not going to be able to read it because your mind is like all over the place. So on those days, if I go down to the beach and I'm not present, I'm not there, I'm not experiencing and calming the chatter in my mind, I'm not going to pick up on something that's just would be a beautiful painting. And the other example is, you come down to the beach, I take my shoes off, I go barefoot, and I'm walking in the sand, and the sun is shining, and I am there listening to the sea, smelling the aromas coming to me from the waves, from the bushes nearby, and the sounds of the seagulls, and all of this stuff happening. And it's like, boom, this awareness, this inaudible big bang just like pops into my mind, and I see the way a wave is crashing onto the rocks, and I think, that I want to paint that. And it's that moment of latching on, becoming aware of something. And then, you bring it down into your sixth chakra area, into your mind, where we do all of our visualization, where we imagine, where we think, where everything is just kind of, it's a little bit more limited than that massive space, infinite space of creativity, and we're funneling it down into us, into our channel. And something that is so vast as creativity, if it is not funneling down, and if you're not limiting your creativity, you will not be able to use it. So this is that process. Okay, so we bring it down, and I start imagining, okay, I really love the way that wave kind of crashed over that rock. What would that painting look like if the sun were lower and going into sunset? What would the colors be? How would the sea change? What if I made the wave larger than what I actually saw? And you are imagining and visualizing how things might work out. And that brings you also down into your fifth chakra area, which is the area of communication. And you just kind of say, hey, I want to paint that. I'm going to go and work with it. I'm going to do some no-tan sketches and some, 3 values sketches and see what I can come up with. And you may not speak it out. I mean, in the regular chakra thing, this is the area where of the sound waves and things like that. In this philosophy, in this perspective, even just doing a little sketch is a way of communicating the idea onto a lower frequency, and we're funneling down. And let's say you do a couple of these no-tan sketches, you do some value sketches, and you're like working with it, and you think, I really like this idea, this one right here, and you point to the no-tan or to the 3 value sketch, and you're like, this one right here, this one's going to work, and you love it. It's like, this one's going to be a great little painting. And because you love it, you are down in your heart chakra area where, you have to actually feel the quality of excitement about creating this painting, or you have to love the idea of creating this painting. And once you pass through that, then we move into the studio. That's when we make the decision. Excuse me. That's when we make the decision to figure out what our palette's going to be. Are we going to do a limited palette? Are we going to add some Indian yellow along with our lemon yellow and help, that will create the crest of the wave and the green coming through mixed with this ultramarine blue? I mean, whatever it is, right? You figure out the size of your canvas that you're going to paint. You make the decision that, yes, I am going to create this painting. I'm going to sit in my studio and paint this painting. And then you move down into the second chakra, and we're funneling down, right? And this is the space where you're actually painting. You are creating your idea, your inspiration, this point of awareness that came and coming down, and in that flow with your creative muse, with your creativity. It's you and your idea. And this is the space of the creative flow, that getting in the zone. If you can keep yourself clear and connected all through this process, the painting will, almost talk back to you. And some of you artists know what I mean. We're not all that cuckoo, but indeed a painting will begin to tell you, not that brush stroke, do this one. Oh no, wait, tone down that color. It's too bright. It's, there's things happening. Just your knowledge of how things work, but there are times when you are in that zone where you don't know why you decided to do something, right? When you're connected and in the zone, you let go of your own preconceived ideas of what you should do, of what you have learned to do, and you go with something new that came to you, a point of understanding, of risk, of daring to mess up your canvas, and just you go with it. You'll know what I mean. Artists out there, I'm sure you'll know what I mean. If not, let me know if I'm totally insane because this happens to me, every time that I am in the flow, this animal here, this painting that I'm doing, this beautiful collie recently passed, and I do these pet portraits where I paint the pet, and in this case, this beautiful collie, and add depending on the collie's character and who who she or he was. I choose different flowers that are kind of coming, through their fur and around them that represent their character. And honestly, when I get in the zone and I am painting these animals, there is a certain type of communication of, I don't know if it's coming from the animal who passed, this beautiful collie behind me, and or if it's my imagination, and none of that really matters. In the end, what matters is me being in my creativity in my second chakra area as I'm painting this painting, and open and flowing and allowing the energy to come through me so that I can sign my name onto this painting and put it out into the world to manifest this painting. So that is kind of how I work and the process that I go through. Now, I find this same process happening in every part of my life. And it's a great way for me to understand how I work, and I am of the belief that we are in fact full of ourselves, our egos, that false protective area of me that just wants to keep me alive. And oftentimes that is the ruling party in my system. But there is also when I can make space within and get that identity calmed, quiet, and not in control of things, then this something else, this deeper, expansive mind that seems to be everywhere, not locked up in here. This is where my ego lives, but this expansive mind is just always present in every moment of my day. And in order to access that sense of being in the zone, I often go through this process of manifestation, because I find that as I'm coming through, I'm really good with getting the ideas, visualizing something, sketching it out and planning it, right? And loving it. And then I kind of shut down and leave the energy up here as an idea, as a visualization, as a theory, as something, right? Without actually pulling it through and bringing it down. And when you get stuck in your solar plexus area, in that willpower area of that decision-making area, and you don't go through the whole process of then creating a painting, just painting it, whether if it's going to be a masterpiece or not, get over yourself. Yeah, if any of you perfectionists out there, you do know what I mean. You do know what I mean of if it's not going to be a perfect painting, why bother? So I worked through that and I was able to open that area up a little bit, make the decision to begin painting. And even if I was painting and it just wasn't working and there was no creative flow, there was nothing, and I was just messing it up and it was getting frustrating and I was getting angry at it and I just wanted to chuck the painting in the garbage, I still made myself finish it, made myself complete a failure of a painting, a bad painting with all sorts of things going wrong. Sign it, finish it off, and manifest it into this reality. I did that. And by doing that, I was able to open this whole area within me. And I discovered, I didn't intend this to happen, but I discovered that just the process of finishing a bad painting and signing it, putting it out, finishing it and putting it out into the world. I may not have uploaded it on the internet, but even to show myself that this is the painting that I did and I finished it, helped me do the same in other areas of my life where I was too afraid to move forward, too afraid to make my own decision about something that I believed or did not believe or wanted to support or did not want to support. Went through the process, even if I messed up, and put it out into the world, like this first podcast. I'm doing the same thing. I spent months wanting to do these video podcasts and talking about creativity and art and painting and, how to put a painting together and all the things that, all the things that I teach my students, all the things that I learn and understand, I want to share them with people. And you guys remember, I live on a small Greek island. I don't have a tribe here, my group of people. And so I am reaching out into the world to bring a community together. So this video podcasting idea has been with me for a long time, but I was too afraid of coming out, uploading, and being awful. Yeah, so that's it. It's the same process. I had the idea, the awareness came, and I started thinking about it, how it could be, what I would talk about, who might I reach, and who might I be able to, kind of reach my hand out and help others along the way. And, I had it all figured out. I really loved the idea, but yeah, maybe I would start a test podcast kind of thing and be like, oh my God, no. So that's what I want to talk about today. It is the process of manifestation from that realm of creativity, the infinite realm, and funneling it through us, bringing it down, limiting, so that we are able to, in fact, produce a painting, to, in fact, wash the dishes, to, in fact, upload this video podcast. Okay. So I still don't have a name for this podcast, but my name is Vita Evenson and I paint Greece. Have a great day, you guys. We'll talk soon.